If you want to manifest your dream life, you have to become the version of you that has it already. Welcome to my channel. My name is Tay. I talk about books, manifestation, self-concept, law of attraction, all the good things. Today, we are talking about self-concept, and I think this is the cornerstone, the most important part about manifesting your dream life. The fastest way to change your life isn't to change your circumstances, it's to change the way that you see yourself. You've probably heard about manifestation. You've probably heard about bringing in your dream life. The key is to not think about what you want, but who you are at your core if you have your dream life. Your self-concept is essentially your self-identity. It's the collection of beliefs that you have about yourself, how you see yourself, what you believe to be true about yourself. It's what you believe you deserve, and it's how you expect life to treat you. Your self-concept is essentially the lens in which you experience reality and how the world shapes around you. For example, do you believe that you are a confident person? Do you believe that you are an easygoing person? Do you believe that relationships are easy? Do you believe that you experience meaningful friendships? Do you believe opportunities come easy to you? Do you believe that life is working for or against you? Everything that you believe about yourself is what makes up your self-concept. The good thing is that if you don't have a very positive self-concept about yourself, your self-concept can be changed. It isn't fixed. It's essentially Play-Doh. We can shape our self-concept, our self-identity into whoever we want to be. Just because you've always been a certain way and believed a certain thing about yourself doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. Anything you want to believe about yourself is possible. I, for example, when I was younger, used to think that I was really unlucky, and of course bad things would happen to me because I would always have really unfortunate incidences happen. And it got to the point where other people around me were pointing out my misfortune, or something bad would happen to me. And before I would even say anything about it, someone else would say, of course this would happen to you. And it really got to the point where outsiders were having this effect on my self-concept. And I do remember one day I decided enough was enough. I am going to decide to be lucky. And that was one of the first bits of my self-concept that I changed. I believe that I was a really lucky person and everything goes my way. And now it's gotten to the point where I am a really lucky person and things go my way, and other people around me will go, oh, of course this lucky thing happened for you. You're a lucky person. Every now and again, people that knew me back when I wasn't lucky would hear about something that maybe doesn't work out in the best of ways, and they say, damn, of course that happens to you. But the difference is that I don't ever let negative experiences shape my own self-identity. Something happened recently and I genuinely can't remember the specific circumstance because I often shove that out of my head. I have something weird, uncomfortable, unusual, bad happen to me, and I no longer think about it. I maybe react for a few minutes, 30 seconds, and then I let it go. And then by the time I come home, if someone was to say, how was your day today? I probably wouldn't even remember about the bad thing that happened to me. But in saying that, if someone says, oh, of course that would happen to you, I put up little mental walls and it bounces right off because I'm a really lucky person and everything works out for me. That is essentially how easy it is to change your self-concept. This was one of the easiest things that I did though, that I am lucky and everything works out for me, because a year ago, I really did a lot of work on my self-concept. A lot of work. I was not happy with who I am. I felt like my manifestations were at a standstill, and I decided enough was enough. Because how could I manifest my dream life if I wasn't living like the person that had my dream life? Essentially, just to recap, just because something has happened repeatedly doesn't make it your identity. Your self-concept can be what is stopping your manifestations from coming in or stopping your manifestations sticking. So if you have the self-identity that you find making money really difficult, but you're manifesting more money in, you could be 100% manifesting this money in, but because you have this self-belief that you have to work so extremely hard for it, you're going to have to work really hard for those manifestations to happen. I know for me, that is a self-identity that I have been working on, especially in the past year. I believed that to manifest money, I had to work my butt off because that had been my lived experience. I saw my mom work her butt off my whole life to provide for her family. And therefore, I thought that that was the way of the world, which just isn't the case. You don't have to work hard for money to come in. Maybe there are certain things that you have to do, but you could also buy a lotto ticket and win $1 million. Like anything is possible, but you have to shift your self-identity. I know for me, my self-identity around money has 100% shifted so much in the past year, but it is something that I'm constantly having blockages come up purely because of my upbringing. You know, money was a scarce resource growing up. I do know that that is that identity that I thought was true because that is what I saw to be reality. Work hard, achieve what you want. Another example, you're manifesting a promotion and you get the promotion, but then you hate it. You work really hard to get this new job, this new promotion, and it leaves you miserable. It's not fulfilling. It's not what you wanted. You're working more, so you don't feel like you're earning more, and you're just not enjoying your job. It all comes back to self-concept and how you perceive the world. Like I mentioned, I have been doing a lot of work on my own self-concept. June last year, so exactly a year ago, I started really cracking down on my own self-concept work. And last year, it took me so long. I was looking for videos. I was looking for how to improve myself. I just didn't even know where to start, but there just wasn't a lot out there. So that is why I'm making this video, because the version of me that I had decided to become last year is where I'm at now. I have flipped my self-concept, my self-identity 180. I'm complete opposite. Last year, I felt lonely. I felt sad. I felt like I wasn't enough. I felt so down on myself. I felt ugly. I felt so many different things. I was just really not having a good time. And I decided enough is enough. No one wants to be around someone that hates themselves, first of all. So if I was feeling lonely, it's because I was pushing everyone away. And I had all these beliefs about myself that just simply weren't true, because if I had just opened my eyes, I would have realized how many people were around me, how many like beautiful friends that I have that support me all the time. So you're probably wondering, how did I flip all of that? How did I get where I am today? I have to say, it honestly probably only took me like 6 months. Around December last year was when I was like, yeah, I'm pretty happy and content with myself. And then these past 6 months have just been me, I suppose, enjoying my current self-concept and trying to figure out where I want to go next, because your self-concept is ever evolving. I'm like, okay, I am where I want to be inside, where I thought last year, if I thought about who I wanted to be, I'm pretty damn close to that. Like I said, there are still some parts of my self-concept that I notice they dip, and I have to come back and work on it and really, really like go in. But we're all work in progresses, and that's okay. I would have let these minor pitfalls completely ruin every single bit of progress that I'd made, because I'd be like, well, what is the point if I'm a useless human being? Which is just not true. We are not useless human beings. How to change your self-concept. What I did. First, figure out what your current self-concept is. So write a list of what you believe to be true about yourself. Are you an early riser? Do you sleep in? Do you eat healthy? Do you eat unhealthy? Do you go to the gym? Are you a fit person? Do you exercise? Are you a motivated person? Do you like yourself? Do you believe you're worthy of love? Really get in and write and be honest with yourself, because that is the most important part. How do you see yourself? And then once you write down all of these responses, the next step is to think about your dream life, your dream manifestation, and everything that you want to bring in. So you're thinking about all your manifestations, and then in the next column, you're going to write, if you woke up tomorrow and you were living your dream life, how are you showing up as that person? So for me, what I would do would be to picture, I open my eyes first thing in the morning and I wake up in that reality. How do I feel? What do I do? So I wake up, I open my curtains, I look out of my window of the apartment that I'm living in with the beautiful view. I have sunlight. It's not my current reality. We're not there yet, but that's okay. I've fixed the inside. The outside will follow. And honestly, when I was going through this exercise, I could feel how I felt living my dream. So what did I do that day? Maybe I made a YouTube video, because this is around the time that I was like, I really want to make YouTube videos. And I was still too scared to, because I hadn't worked on my self-concept. I believe that I wasn't a confident person. So in this reality, I was confident enough to talk to a camera, post it on the internet, and do what I'm doing right now. And I would walk my dog in the morning and I would feel so light and happy and easygoing, basically. And I think about that feeling now, that feeling that I used to think was so far away, and I genuinely feel that feeling day in, day out now. Maybe every now and again, I'll have an hour or 2 hours of a day where someone has done something that has affected my mood. But the key point of that, the key part of that self-concept was me figuring out how I would deal with instances when they came up. So my dream version of me wouldn't let it ruin her week. It wouldn't let it ruin how I move about that day. It wouldn't ruin my day. Why would I let someone else ruin a perfectly good day? I decided enough was enough. And again, every now and again, I get stressed, but I work through it because I adjusted that self-concept. So by now, you should have a list of who you currently are and who you want to be. And maybe they're not so different. Maybe they're polarizing. A good example is you currently sleep in. You are waking up at 9:30, 10 a.m., but you want to be up at 6 a.m. You want to be a morning person from now on. The next thing you need to write is what steps and actions you need to take to become that version of you. Because while you can flip a switch and change your self-concept, you can't just say I'm an early morning riser and then wake up at 10 a.m. every day, because then you're not actually changing who you are. You're not molding the clay. So this next step is to figure out the steps you need to take to mold that clay into the dream version of you. So if you're an early morning riser now, you wake up at 6 a.m. Maybe you go to bed earlier. You set an alarm, you put some clothes out in the morning so it's easier to get out of bed, so you don't have to make any thoughts in the morning. You wake up in the morning with your alarm, you get out of bed and you go for a walk and you're enjoying your day at 6 a.m. But to get there, you can't be going to bed at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. You need to go to bed earlier. Okay, just to recap, number one, who are you currently? What is your current self-concept? How do you view yourself? Number two, what is your dream self? You wake up and you're living in your dream life. You have everything you've ever manifested. You're thriving. What is that person to you? How do you show up in the world as that person? And then number three, what are the steps you need to take to change? What are your bridge actions to bridge the gap between your current self-concept and your ideal self-concept? Like I said, I started on my main journey of changing my self-concept pretty much exactly a year ago. And the way that I would get comfortable in my self-concept would be every morning when I was walking my dog, I started doing 10,000 steps every day. So I would do a 4-kilometer walk in the morning, and the first 500 meters would be me really getting into the energy. I would close my eyes and I would picture waking up as my dream self, and I would feel that calm feeling in my chest and how I felt showing up as the dream version of me. And then I would walk that 4 kilometers exactly how I felt the ideal version of me, the version of me that had everything that I ever wanted. If she was walking, she would not have a care in the world, and she would feel so light and so free. And every person that walked, like, minor inconveniences would mean nothing, because, you know, life's good, life's easy. So it would be easy, and it would be slow. I would have plenty of time to do everything that I needed. And that was a really good exercise for me, to show up as that person when I wasn't 100% there yet. And over time, over 6 months, so deep down, my self-concept adjusted. And I think about those feelings that I felt on that walk, and I'm like, I'm there. That's how I feel day in, day out, which is pretty cool. In saying that, I have been recently going over my self-concept, seeing if there's anything. Again, I think it's good to do a self-check-in. If you think you're already showing up as the ideal version of you, there's potential for growth. You know, I think there's always potential for growth. I currently, my 3D reality doesn't represent my 5D. In my head, I act like the dream version of me in here, but my 3D isn't quite reflecting that, but I'm getting there. I know what I need to work on. The dream version of me puts out more regular YouTube videos. She's doing a little bit more. I think the biggest takeaway should be that you can be whoever you want to be. And you can be that person without having proof of it first. Growth doesn't mean perfection as well. So sometimes you will find that you slip into an old version of you. It's how long you sit in that version and how you deal with it afterwards. So some days someone will trigger me and I will slip and I will react and maybe have a bit of a negative reaction, and maybe I go, get a little antsy over it. But the important thing is for me to take a step back and go, it's really not that deep. And you know what? 99% of the time, it's not that deep. Sometimes my boundaries get tested, especially in my business. Sometimes people take advantage of you, but it's knowing your self-worth and knowing that those people are not worthy of you and therefore not worthy of your reaction. So that's what always brings me back. Even sometimes at work, I will have an instance where maybe a client is not being very nice to me, but usually I go out the back and in my head, I go, they're so nice to me. They like me. We're having such a good conversation. They're not mean at all. I kind of just flip the script, you know, and it does work. By the time we're through with the appointment, we're all smiles, we're all happy, and there's not a care in the world. So that's your self-concept. I hope this isn't too rambly. I tried to keep it short. I really did. So basically, if you want to manifest your dream life, you have to become the version of you that has it already. That is your self-concept. Good luck. I really hope this makes sense. If you want to see more of these types of videos, let me know. If you have any specific questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped. I hope this was informative. May you adjust your self-concepts and find peace and solace in who you are, because I think we should all love ourselves. And maybe that version of you is a lucky little Delulu, silly, whimsy little girl. It's more fun to live life that way.